Well, folks, it seems like Donald Trump's worst nightmare, worst case scenario for him and his administration is finally coming true with this whole Epstein scandal that he has found himself in. Obviously, we've seen Democratic voters and even Republican voters, the MAGA base, turn on Donald Trump. But the last piece of the puzzle was, would MAGA Republicans in Congress turn on Donald Trump? And that appears to be happening. Members of Congress on the Republican side are now joining calls for the full release of the Epstein files, even going a step further and asking for Ghislaine Maxwell to testify in front of Congress. So there's so much to break down in this video. I want to dive in head first with you right now. Let's start with this article that was published yesterday. Republican Trump foe, according to the Daily Beast, plans Epstein revenge strike with Dems. That's right, a Republican representative is joining a Democrat to get these files released. In modern day politics, when you see unity like that, you know something good is happening. A Republican thorn in Donald Trump's side is joining forces with a California Democrat to seek answers from the administration over Epstein. Kentucky Representative Thomas Massie, whose opposition to the GOP's budget bill last month led Trump to demand his exile from the party, teamed up with Representative Ro Khanna to introduce the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which would require Attorney General Pam Bondi to make the documents public within 30 days. Now, as you remember, we talked on this channel about how Donald Trump put out this long essay on Truth Social, specifically targeting Thomas Massie, saying that he would be campaigning for whoever is going against him. Massie wrote, this is the Republican, "We all deserve to know what's in the Epstein files, who's implicated, and how deep this corruption goes." He also added, quote, "Americans were promised justice and transparency." Both him and Ro Khanna put out tweets that we're going to read in just a moment. But this move comes hours after the House voted 211 to 210 against a measure that would have allowed a vote on that legislation. All Republicans present for the vote rejected it. That's right. There was an opportunity in the House of Representatives to release the Epstein files, have them published on a public DOJ website within 30 days. Republicans blocked it. On Monday, we also discussed this. A similar effort by Democrats didn't make it out of the GOP-controlled House Rules Committee. One Republican, Representative Ralph Norman, sided with Democrats, but the amendment still failed. So Democrats have tried twice in two different ways to get the Epstein files released. Republicans have blocked them both times. Now let's see these tweets from Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie and get a more particular view, a more specific view at this bill. Here it is on your screen. Section A says, no later than 30 days after the date of enactment, the Attorney General shall publicly make available in a searchable and downloadable format all unclassified records, documents, communications, and investigative materials in the possession of the DOJ and the FBI that relate to, and then it goes down the list, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, flight logs, individuals, including government officials named or referenced in connection with Epstein's criminal activities, entities with known or alleged ties to Epstein's trafficking, any immunity deals, that's a big one, internal DOJ communications, including emails, memos, meetings, notes concerning decisions not to charge, etc., all communications, memoranda, directives, logs, etc. there as well, documentation of Epstein's attention or death. Prohibited releases would be things that contain personally, it says here in Section A, contain personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal medical files, depict or contain obviously abuse of children, would jeopardize an active federal investigation. The list is the typical things you would expect, but for things to be prohibited from the released. But for the most part, all of these different specifics surrounding the investigation, whether it be just flight logs, information on Ghislaine, information on Jeffrey Epstein, the investigations into him, they want it all released. And Thomas Massie also agreed, putting out his own tweets saying, MAGA, we want you to name and prosecute Epstein's clients. MAGA Inc., best we can do is $1.8 million of ads against the most fiscally conservative member of Congress. So Thomas Massie is taking shots at people like Donald Trump, who, number one, are not releasing these files, but also, number two, have gone on tirades against him. He also addressed the bill in particular, saying we all deserve to know what's in the Epstein files. Americans were promised justice and transparency. We're introducing a discharge position to force a vote in the U.S. House of Representatives on releasing the complete files. He said a discharge position is a procedural tool for bypassing leadership. In 7 days, we can start collecting signatures. And here's the important part. At 218 signatures, the House must vote on our bill, requiring a full release of the Epstein files. If your rep won't sign the discharge position, ask why. So So they're not just letting the Republicans who basically canceled this release, ended the vote, they're not letting them get away with it. They're going to have this just discharge position. And every single day, Ro Khanna, and to his credit, Representative Massey, are going to try to get these documents released. And interestingly enough, Elon Musk endorsed one of these Republicans doing exactly that on this tweet, I believe it was, where he put this thinking emoji in response to the one we just looked at a moment ago where Thomas Massey slammed Donald Trump. Here's another thing. It's not just Thomas Massey on the Republican side. Tim Burchett, a Republican representative as well, has sent a letter to Chairman James Comer asking for him to allow Ghislaine Maxwell to testify in front of the Oversight Committee. Now, this is, of course, something that Republicans, something that Donald Trump does not want to happen, because we have reporting from different outlets like the Daily Beast as well that Donald Trump is concerned about what Ghislaine Maxwell might reveal about Trump and his ties to Epstein and their relationship and things like that. And now we have a Republican representative. You can see that his bio is as Republican as it gets. His tweet he's touting an endorsement from Donald Trump on his page, and yet he's demanding that Ghislaine Maxwell come testify in front of the Oversight Committee. And we also have reporting that she's ready to do so. The Daily Mail said that Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice is ready to reveal the truth about the client list. That's according to sources next to her or near her, saying no one from the government has ever asked her to share what she knows. She remains the only person to be jailed in connection to Epstein, and she would welcome the chance to tell the American public the truth. So she's ready to do that. We have Republicans introducing bills to release the files. We have a Republican asking Ghislaine Maxwell to be basically subpoenaed, testify in front of the committee for the Oversight Committee. But also, interestingly enough, Speaker Mike Johnson also bucked Donald Trump. In an interview with MAGA commentator Benny Johnson, he said, "I'm for transparency. We should put everything out there and let the people decide. Pam Bondi needs to come forward and explain it to the American people. Let's get this thing resolved." So take a look at what Speaker Mike Johnson had to say.
Speaker Johnson, this is sort of on the heels of something else that a lot of people are asking questions about. And because we've been lied to by our federal government for so long, I feel like there's some type of like there's a pain point, right? And a pressure cooker that gets heated up on issues like the Epstein issue, right? And obviously that's something that's taken over a lot of the online dialogue. I have a question here about it that concerns either testifying or testimony for Ghislaine Maxwell, potentially before Congress, or if you would support members like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Anna Paulina Luna on the release of subpoenaing the Epstein documents from the DOJ, whether you would support either of those.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Marjorie or Anna about that specific subject, but I'm for transparency. We're intellectually consistent in this. Look, Reagan used to tell us we should trust the American people. I believe in that principle. I know President Trump does as well, and I trust him. I mean, he put together a team of his choosing, and they're doing a great job. It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide it. I mean, the White House and the White House team are privy to facts that I don't know. I mean, this isn't my lane. I haven't been involved in that. But I agree with the sentiment that we need to put it out there. And you know, Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody. I like Pam. I mean, I think she's done a good job. We need the DOJ focusing on the major priorities. So let's get this thing resolved so that they can deal with violent crime and public safety and
Mike Johnson saying we should put everything out there, let the people decide, citing Reagan in his little rant that he went on there. Now, it is important to note, and I want to be honest with you, Speaker Mike Johnson later after this interview went and voted against, as we talked about earlier, releasing the Epstein files. So I'm glad that he at least put Donald Trump in his place with this and bucked Donald Trump, but actions speak louder than words. And Mike Johnson, of course, spineless, cowardly man that he is, did not back up his words with his actions. So interestingly, a number of different Republican representatives, I don't know if we can put Mike Johnson in that category, but people like Thomas Massey, Tim Burchett are doing things that Donald Trump does not want them to do. And I think that in the coming days, we will see more and more MAGA reps who are up for re-election in 2026 joining the Democrats in demanding that these files be released. I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I just had to cover these Republicans who are going against Donald Trump. Make sure to drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about the story, subscribe to the channel. It goes an incredibly long way. And have an amazing rest of your day. We will talk soon.